time to whip off your bra, pour a glass of wine, and join us for this week's Drinks at 6 kit.
Hi there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Monica.
And this week we are doing how to get on your kids' teacher's good side kit, or how to keep your kids' teacher happy kit. So we've got some ideas on how you can be a good parent in the classroom and outside the classroom. And Monica is going to kick off with something pretty colorful and cool that will definitely get your kid in the teacher's good books this year.
Yeah. And I don't have kids, but I love kids, and I think all kids should have an opportunity to learn and flourish and thrive at school. And there's an organization in the area where I live in Burlington. It's called Halton Food for Thought, and they take care of the whole Halton region. They have breakfast programs where they feed kids, and the wonderful thing about it is that there's no stigma. It's not a program where it's like they're feeding the poor kids and the rich kids aren't. They're feeding all kids. So if a kid is rushed in the morning, can't get to school on time, has an activity, it doesn't matter. It's not about segregation. It's about feeding all kids, because they've tied good nutrition in with mental health, their ability to learn, absorb information. Attention spans, huge. Yeah, so it's a really great organization. So what we did was we got all our heads together at Glam Jewels and designed this amazing gift for a teacher. And it's our little, we call them our teacher bracelets, and they're all finished off with a little apple. And they come in a wide variety of colors. They're so sweet. And every single one of these bracelets feeds 5 kids a healthy breakfast.
Wow. Really?
So, yeah. They're $25.
5 breakfasts.
They're on our website. Shipping's free. glamjewels.com.
So these would make like such a great, well, I mean, are these available all year?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're available all year.
I'm always in a rut when it comes to gifts, because my daughter is in JK and this is my first time through this whole thing. So I go for the bottle of wine. That would make me happy if I was a teacher, and I'm pretty sure that anyone teaching my kid needs a bottle of wine. So
yes.
But these are great for like Christmas and end of the year school gifts.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
I met a couple of teachers last year that came by. I was doing an event and selling these, and one of the teachers says, so I teach kindergarten, and one of my students gave me a candle last year and said, my mommy's had this in the basement for 5 years and said we'd never burn it, and decided to give it to you. And she said, I wish they'd seen your bracelets. Yeah. So the teachers love them, and we have a lot of teachers. So every year we change the color themes and around. Yeah. So we have some teachers that have like 4 or 5 or 6, and they love them. They wear them all.
Oh, that's amazing.
You can't give a teacher too many of these.
I love
lots
them.
of colors. And this is our little friend here, Maggie from the Monster Factory. If anybody knows them, they're a really cool Canadian company too. So she's
Maggie is
she's stacking them.
Yeah, she's stacking them, and she's stacked. But she's a well-traveled Monster Factory thing. Maggie has traveled with Monica across North America. Mm-hmm. So Maggie has traveled more than I have. So, hi Maggie. So how can you work with your child's teacher to be a good parent and not to cause a ruckus in the classroom? To me, that's like complaining about your food and sending it back to the kitchen. Someone's going to spit on it before it comes back, right? So you want to stay on your teacher's good side, your kid's teacher. One thing, I've asked a few friends who are teachers, and I've asked friends who are parents on tips that they would give on how to work with the school with your teacher, and some great tips, and I will list them below. One is stay on board with what's going on at the school. Know like the events coming up. Don't send your kid on like Flare Day or Pink Day or whatever without an outfit, because then your teacher's struggling, so that your child doesn't feel isolated. So always make sure Maddie's school's great. They send out a newsletter. We have a classroom blog. So I read it all the time, so I know when it's Maddie's turn to do like the mystery bag, or it's a spirit day at school. And volunteer at least once for one field trip during the year. They're hell. They're chaos. I mean, I volunteered and I had 3 kids, which is dynamically really hard, right? Because you're holding hands for 2 of them. And then there's a 3rd one. It's like crack the whip. You could lose that kid. It's someone else's kid.
Do you use the rope?
No, we don't. I don't know why. I totally believe in kid leashes now. But we were in the aquarium. I mean, oh my God, it was like such stress. But do it. Volunteer, because if you think you're stressed, like, how do you think the teacher feels?
You'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah, you might learn something at the aquarium. But But the other thing too is volunteer in the classroom when you can. If you have some time, get in there. See if you can, like on a day like Halloween, bring snacks, healthy snacks to school. You know, just kind of work with the teacher in the classroom and see if there's anything you can do. Maybe you can help with some extra work at home with your child if you feel like they're falling down in an area, and don't put all the heavy lifting on the teacher. Work with them. Be on the same page as them.
Yeah. You know what else I would say is, like, be on time for appointments, because that's like the most respect I'm always late, but you know, it's so respectful when you show up on time, and it's sort of a reflection on, you know, the teacher thinks, well, they're not coming on time for the appointment about their child, and they may sort of have, you know, thoughts about you that you're not going to like. Yeah. So I would say being on time, punctual, respecting their time and your own and your kids is a good one.
Yeah, well, when you have parent-teacher interviews and they only have so much time for each parent, when you're late, you screw up their whole schedule, right? So, and another piece of advice, if you're having an issue in the classroom or with the teacher, go to the teacher. Do not go to the principal. I mean, you know, that's like going above your boss's head. You know, you just don't do that. Go to the source, try to work it out, and then go to the principal if it's absolutely necessary. But that shows great respect, and will build a better relationship between you and the teacher. And I think my last point on that, and this has happened with Maddie, I heard that one day Maddie had done something in the classroom, and the teacher had disciplined her, and I got a text about it. So when she came home at lunch, I continued to talk about the topic with her. I mean, with children, you can't discipline them 2 hours later. It's like scolding a dog, like 12 hours later. But I continued to talk to her about the topic, and I told her that I was happy with the way her teacher handled it, to show her I was on the teacher's side and that I was supporting them. And it really affected her behavior. She went back to school in the afternoon, she apologized, and she really smartened up and cleaned up her act. So
that's amazing.
You know, take the hard work that they're doing with your child and continue it at home, so that they're not always starting from, you know, a clean palette the next day. So those are just a few tips that I think would work. I've tried a few of them, and I can already see, like, I have a good relationship with Maddie's teachers. And that makes a big difference when they want to talk to you about your child. Like, you're going to get a little more communication back, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, and of course, a bottle of wine always helps, but one of these gorgeous bracelets will get you much further.
Get them both.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have any tips, or you're a teacher and you agree or disagree with any of this advice, we're just learning. So send us your comments and put them in the comments box, and we'll address them. If you have any topics you want to hear us talk about, we'd love to chat over a glass of wine anytime. So email us, hit us on Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course our site. So we look forward to seeing you next week for the Drinks at 6 kit. Cheers.
Cheers.